Well, since we are telling stories tonight, I'm going to tell a little story about a little boy who didn't like school. This little boy was in a private school for 5th grade. We had homeschooled until then, and then he went to this school, and I was teaching there, and he really didn't like school. He just didn't like being there. And so they offered a little teeny tiny band program, and I went, here, take this clarinet and go to band. And there were 4 kids in band. And he came home from band that day, and he went, Mom, that was more fun than PE. So that was a win. And we did not even make it through that whole school year. We ended up moving, and so I continued to homeschool when we moved. So we moved to Spokane. I went back to homeschooling, and the first thing I did was Google homeschool band in Spokane. And I found Lilac City Homeschool Band. So we showed up, and Mr. Baumgartner was here at the time, and he said, well, is he above the break? And I said, oh, yeah, he's above the break. If you play clarinet, you know what I'm talking about. And he goes, okay, well, just have him come on in. So he came in, and he sat down. He was really scared. I actually had to do this, right? Literally had to shove him through the door. Go! And he sat down, and he played. And I sat in the hallway and listened. And people kept walking by. Oh, are you his mom? Yeah, I'm his mom. Okay, well, do you want to run and get this? Sure, I'll run and get that. Do you want to run and get that? Sure, I'll run and get that. Finally, I said, you know, I can help run sectionals because I can read music. You do? Why don't you sit down and play with us? I don't have a clarinet. Oh, we have an extra one. Here you go. So then I sat down and I started playing with him, and I had not played for 20 years. And then he moved up to intermediate band and got the scary Mrs. Laulainen, who's not so scary. And so I played intermediate with him, and then we moved up to advanced. And Lisa said, well, he should play in jazz. And I said, you should play in jazz. And he said, I don't know how to play the saxophone. So I took the saxophone home, and I played the saxophone and said, see, I learned it, you can do it. So he did it. And then they said, why don't you play the saxophone with him? So then I ended up in saxophone thing, learned how to play the saxophone, played in advanced band with him. I'm now working, and so you don't get to see my face around here anymore, but this program changed him. He's so much more outgoing. He is now at the Falls studying music. He's going to graduate with his AA in music. He's studying clarinet. He's playing saxophone. He has had the opportunity to play with some famous musicians this year. There were a few times towards the beginning of high school when I wondered, is this enough once a week to come? These other kids in public school band are getting 5 days a week where they get to play with their peers every day. They have a million opportunities and financial help that we don't have because everything that we do comes out of our pocket. We all know that. And it was more than enough because Lisa and Janine are putting so much heart into your kids. So thank you. Where's Janine? Thank you. Thank you.
So Tim, this is the part where I open things up and we tell embarrassing stories about you. Just kidding. I won't do that to you. So tonight, Tim is going to play the 4th movement of 5 Bagatellis by Gerald Finzini. Just before Finzini was drafted into World War II, he took some time to complete some of his compositions. Among these was a 3-character piece for clarinet using 20-year-old bits and pieces. He added a 4th movement to it in 1942, and eventually when they were published, a 5th movement was also added. They became Finzi's most popular work, demonstrating the range, color, depth, hue, sounds of the clarinet. Finzi dismissed this work as only trifles and not worth very much. As Tim plays us tonight, the Forlana, boy, I can't pronounce that, Forlana, enjoy the light, lilting music of this trifle.